It is insane to think that you do not have to constantly stay on top of your game. You have to think that you do not have to constantly learn about being a minimalist and constantly learn about staying healthy. It's a bad idea to stop your learning when it comes to eating healthy and when it comes to being a minimalist. Those two things are constantly at war with us, okay? Those two things. We are constantly at war at buying junk we don't need, and we are constantly at war at trying to be fed food that we shouldn't be eating. Let me repeat that. We are constantly bombarded with advertisements for material goods that we don't need. We don't need this junk, and yet we're constantly being bombarded with advertisements to buy these material goods that we don't need. And number two, we are constantly being bombarded with advertisements to eat garbage, eat stuff that's gonna kill our pancreas, that's gonna kill our liver, our intestines, everything, okay? We are constantly being bombarded with advertisements to harm us in these two aspects of our life: material goods and food. So it is a bad belief to think that you can go to one seminar, you can read one book about health, you can read one book about minimalism and not buying, and then call it quits, because you're going to be reprogrammed. You understand that? You will be reprogrammed. Once you put those books down, the next day the advertisements come in. I read that Americans are subjected to about 2,000 ads and logos a day. Now just think about ads and logos. So if you see a Toyota, like I'm looking outside, I see a Toyota sign, I see a Nissan, I see a Whirlpool, any ad, any logo, that's an advertisement. So to stop your learning when it comes to eating healthy, to stop your learning when it comes to not buying junk you don't need, to the fight against consumerism, if you stop those two things, the reprogramming begins. You have to constantly work on those two things every day. Every day you drive out there, you're trying to fight the programming of buying Louis Vuitton, buying Nike, buying Reebok. Look how many name brands I can just shoot off the top of my head, right? Just Louis Vuitton, Prada, Nike, Reebok, Volcom. The list goes on and on. Billabong, Ruka. It's never ending, right? You got Toyota, Nissan. There's all kinds of material goods out there. And then think about all the junk food, fast food that we're constantly being bombarded on, like McDonald's, Carl's Jr., Subway, Soup Plantation, okay, they're on the better side, but they still have their junk food there. So you have to constantly work on staying away from being programmed, okay? If it were up to me, I would go to Kona, I would go to Hilo, live off the coast over there somewhere, and just write books, eat organic food. I would live on an organic farm if I could. If I could live on an organic farm somewhere in Kona or Hilo, that would be my ideal dream right there. Because we're being